This video answers a question. What's going on in the Lotus Sutra Chapter 1 titled Introductory? In a nutshell, Chapter 1, Introductory, sets up the entire Lotus Sutra. It talks about who are in the audience of the Lotus Sutra. It presents a scene where Shakyamuni Buddha emits a ray of light from its tuft to illuminate all different kinds of realms of the world, and also presents the interaction between the Bodhisattva Maitreya and the Bodhisattva Manjushri and their karmic relationship from the ancient past life. So this is already so interesting, and today we will go over the major scenes of the chapter, hoping that after watching this video, you will have more familiarity with what's going on in the Lotus Sutra by focusing on chapter 1. So this chapter is very, very interesting. So the chapter gives a list of creatures, both human and non-human, in the audience. And this is so fun to follow and imagine how the audience would look like. So the audience includes the Buddha's famous disciples such as Shariputra, Mahakashapa, Puna, and all the 10 disciples and so on. But also they are with 12,000 other monks, nuns, and their retinue. And this number snowballs as the pages of the sutra moves on. So it also includes 80,000 bodhisattvas, including Maitreya, who is a symbol of compassion, and he is the next Buddha to be, as this tradition says. And there also is a Manjushri Bodhisattva, who is a symbol of wisdom, and also the Bodhisattva regarder of the cries of the world, who is a central figure in the chapter 25 of the Lotus Sutra. So there also are, as I said, non-human beings and gods. And among the audience is Shakro Devanam Indraha, with 20,000 heavenly children. This is already so interesting. So in Buddhist cosmology, Shakro Devanam Indraha is supposedly the highest ruler of all different worlds of devas, gods, and is considered to be a protector of Buddhism. The audience also includes 8 dragon kings, yes, and also Kimnara kings, these Kimnaras, who are celestial beings. They are like very interesting, half human and half bird. Looks like this. And the Kimnaras watch over the world, especially during the time of crisis. So they're also guardians and protectors. So all these lots of non-human creatures that appears, if you take a look at the chapter, that'll be great at the outset of it. So together with the retinue of thousands of their disciples are among the audience of the Lotus Sutra Great Assembly. Great Assembly, right? So this is already so intriguing and interesting at the outset already. So can you imagine how many huge stadiums would you need to accommodate all these serious and committed humans and non-human creatures in the Great Assembly of the Lotus Sutra? But I think there is an important point in this very description of the audience of the Lotus Sutra that is in accord with the message of the Lotus Sutra. Okay, so the depiction of the audience that is full of variety of creatures seeking the way already hints at how much the Lotus Sutra is expressing its non-exclusive attitudes towards all kinds of beings. So what is at the heart of the Lotus Sutra is not to discriminate against anyone in the universal vision of the Buddhahood of all beings. So the great audience, in this sense, expresses the sutra's universal, non-exclusive attitude toward all living beings. So the audience said this way. The sutra next says that the scene is immediately after the Shakyamuni Buddha preached the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings, which is the opening sutra to the Threefold Lotus Sutra. So the Buddha Shakyamuni then enters meditation, and then auspicious flowers rain down from the sky, and the earth is trembling. So this narration is typical of sutra literatures where this kind of auspicious scene becomes a setup to reveal something important. So, and then all of a sudden, as the sutra says, the Buddha from the tuft of white hair between his eyebrows, the Buddha sent forth a ray of light illuminating 18,000 worlds, leaving no place unlit, from the depths of Avijja hell to the upper reaches of Akanishta heaven. So what's going on here? Wondering about this, Bodhisattva Maitreya asks Bodhisattva Manjushri about this enigmatic matter. So Manjushri basically answers by saying that, well, this is a sign that the great Dharma is going to be preached soon by the Buddha, because a similar instance happened actually in distant past. So as a proof of this, Bodhisattva Manjushri gives a similar example from the innumerable billions of years ago, when there was a Buddha called Light of the Sun and the Moon. In that ancient past life, the Buddha of that time also preached a sutra of innumerable meanings, and then he entered meditation. And then flowers rained down from the sky, rejoicing all the audience. Then the Buddha emitted a ray of light from his tuft, illuminating 18,000 Buddha lands, leaving nowhere unlit. Among the assembly was a Bodhisattva wondrous light. The Buddha preached a Lotus Sutra for him, and he expounded the Lotus Sutra to people for billions and billions of years. That's how the narrative goes. Then the chapter 1 presents an intriguing story of a disciple of this Bodhisattva wondrous light. So that disciple was known as Fame Seeker, who was, as the sutra says, greedily attached to gain and offerings. So he was a terrible guy, basically. So as the sutra says, even in reading and reciting many sutras, he could gain no fluency in them and could not remember much. So he became known as Fame Seeker. However, as the narrator goes, this man learned and practiced the Buddha's teachings many, many years, and then eventually he was able to grow so much and see billions of Buddhas in the end. So then Manjushri says this, okay, so Bodhisattva wondrous light in my account is the past life of Manjushri himself. Then the question is, okay, Bodhisattva wondrous light is the past life of Manjushri. Then who is the past life of this guy, Fame Seeker? To your surprise, Manjushri reveals that Fame Seeker was past life of Maitreya. This is very interesting, right? Because who is Maitreya? The tradition says Maitreya is the one who will become the Buddha next. He's the next Buddha. And the tradition says Maitreya will become a Buddha 5.67 billions of years from now. If you are to imagine the past life of the Buddha, you'd imagine, okay, so that past life of the Buddha to be is going to be someone like a great, morally exemplary or something like that. But here, this in the very first chapter, the Lotus Sutra says that one of this Buddha to be's past life was a fame seeker who underwent both a greedy fame-seeking life and a struggle with not to forget what he learned. This is very interesting. Here you see this great Bodhisattva Maitreya, the future Buddha's path was something like an ordinary, deluded human, like all of us. This is one of the greatest points of Lotus, that I can so relate to the story itself. This is so interesting. With this in mind, we are already seeing where the sutra is going. So in the Lotus Sutra, we can say the Buddhahood embraces and acknowledges both of your Buddha-like and non-Buddha-like quality and actions. So the Buddha emitted a ray of light to illuminate all different realms of the world, including the Buddha land and hell realms. Hell, one of the lowest realms of all realms. So it is significant that what the Buddha sees is not just the Buddha realm, but he rather sees all realms. So in the Lotus Sutra, Buddhahood is not put in opposition to other non-Buddha realms. Why is that? Well, because Rather, the Buddhahood in the Lotus Sutra means a full comprehension of all realms, including evil realms. True nirvana in the Lotus Sutra is a mastery of all evil realms, mastery of all our evil, unwholesome karma and actions and deeds. So in this sense, what is evil in this picture is not the evil itself, but rather it is an exclusion of the evil out of the picture of the Buddhahood. So Maitreya is to embrace his past as fame seeker by comprehending and fully mastering this non-Buddha-like quality of his own by way of thoroughly comprehending his evil nature. That's how Maitreya will become a Buddha. In our lives, there are many things we don't like ourselves, but the key is not how to kick out that quality out of yourself, but rather the key is to how to more understand, how to more comprehend, how to fully master the things you don't like about yourself. That's how your suffering is overcome. That gets you overcome the alienation of some part of yourself and how you want to identify yourself to be. So it boils down to the issue of identity. Okay, so being fame seeker then, Maitreya was fulfilling his own Buddhahood. By being non-Buddha, he was becoming a Buddha. This is amazing. Okay, this is what's going on in the Lotus Sutra Chapter 1 and how the chapter orients the sutra at the outset. Let me know your thoughts and ideas and questions in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching.